Lama dang gombo jambe yala jazalo kange londru temni denda nida nanda ravzalve cheni dungu cheje sejir Nidhi dogale bam kamba sebe jaramare mondon dongal dizer gozo gola boje darat yelan joju yade Dodar jedo nyomo nilu leje jatu doze mare munzer donga nyugu jene jezeralde dene daje saje darje yende lenzo jaze doe chudan chudan chunin jende tale munze jam yalande marmana Om Arabazanandi Teden Jeje Jera Uzere Tale de Mombarasani Kadan Denje Shonlo Toba Lodre Bobe Nang Saldo Sol Kanze Dawar de Ba Chonse Chewar de Nayang Kombo Jamyan Denin Keme Baryang Dongwar Shu On la so ne lar yang namge ta na ni be samjen thamje rani je phama maje bo me ba dang phama che be samjen de da thamje rani la tenjen sha da yindu ane te dan de ba dewa de na yang dewi kyu kewa ru me she dongal me de dongal ji kyu me do pang me she wa yindu ane te da ge dewa de yang da bala sanje bo bang da no ko do dongal thamje zen de tal wa cha we che do ne tagi tanda tambe che teni ne tezam komzom yibo ne nyam zolang bra kiwo nyembe kulong yibo ne saro nang ta kanje sambar chawe che ni paru rumba che jingme che yongbe shangan ne sungbe ne changju sambe chobala jube kumram labsa nye mare ta di che sanje je sungbe sungrab je che jir ane karasa gore 년주에 대고 장주선배 대고 상하게 대고서는 렘바숨 유비나네 다다 장주선배 대비 흉지 자기 요래 근데 장주선배 대비 흉대라 삼자비 좀더 높이 네 상계제 가지당 엄마도 좀더 높이 상계제가 직제 니링구 레기비는 단다데다 우마베 좀더 좀 산제 가이 공절도 좀 잡았잖아 민도 근데 된저데 우마베니 로솔 차게 요래 근데 오메 로솔데지니 가르쳐 그래 샤단데야 망차와 삼동반이 남자도 휴천보 직송난 그래 이나 흉데나라 삼동반이 남자도 조자도 만나봐제 장지 선배님도 줘봐 파진도 레레레레 냠냠자다 남자 개바 좀 송도 그래 전주 조 나라양 된데 송도 봐 나진도 빨주름 버지기 고민 나라양 디다 돈 내가 솔라 뒤네 송도 그래 된데 집에 단단 가서 파진 조바 시럽이 골라니 계제 셰셰바인 근데 모두 쉬어야지.
Good morning, everyone, and let's start the class by arousing pure motivation of bodhicitta, thinking that we will study this text, receive the teachings, we will reflect on the meaning of the teachings, and we will try our best to put these teachings into practice with the sole intent to bring all beings who have been our kind parents, and at the time when they were our kind parents, they were extremely kind to us. And so those kind parents of ours who don't know how to accomplish their own true happiness, and even though they want to avoid suffering, they don't know how to give up the causes that destroy their own happiness. So those kind parents that then lost and wander in samsara, we will ourselves bring to the state of perfect happiness. That is enlightenment. So this is the dedication of, that's an aspiration that with which we are going to then proceed with the class. And what we are studying here is the text entitled The Brightly Shining Sun, which is a guide on meditating to the Bodhicaryavatara. So when we think of the vehicles of Buddhism, we can say the three different traditions, three vehicles of Buddha Dharma. We have the vehicles of the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, right? That's one. Then we have the vehicle of Bodhisattvas, and then we have the vehicle of tantric teachings, secret Mahāyāna. Among these three, our text pertains to the vehicle of the Bodhisattvas. There, when it comes to the vehicle of the Bodhisattvas, we have the teachings that could pertain to the philosophy of the mind-only school, and we have the Buddhist teachings that could pertain to the philosophy of the middle way school, right? Chittamatra and Madhyamika, respectively. So among these two possibilities, our text pertains to the teachings of the the middle way philosophy, right? It's the Madhyamika teachings. And generally, when we speak of the Madhyamika or the middle way, we understand that the main subject matter of that philosophy is emptiness, shunyata. But here, our text is more concerned with the conduct of the bodhisattvas. So here, Patrul Rinpoche follows the intent of Shantideva, who composed the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, where Shantideva also, even though the text itself belongs to the middle way philosophy, did not take emptiness as its main subject matter, but rather elaborated on the conduct or the paramitas that the bodhisattvas have to engage in. And then among those paramitas, only the sixth one then, right, explains the subject matter of emptiness. And that's what we are looking at right now.
다시라지 바로도 셴바지 남자들라 닝아조 나사지 담배나 파소제다 최지 담배나 파소 제제 니용고요래 강사지 담배 때나 파소도 슈트제 다다나가서 최지 담배나 파소를 레때도 근데 다 최지 담배나 파단텔라 양 네 중디 네타 공동데 다조 제만야 워셔바시 shirshachine no sonangure. Tachidang yongdagi nazo temanyawar shabashi tenla padang nani ta changju sambe chombalu jube temanyawar shabashi tenla padang chungse samje dagi mare. Yongzo chagbe tone ngazo temanyawar shabashi lui temanyawar shabashi lui temanyawar shabashi komba yena. Tidu kabzu ngazo lui mizangwa da mitu pa namba so komgire mato lui milamdo gyumba da uda tongba niji namchadi sanji jita do nangla menga yekab khache sungu yore mang chawayang karasa gore mitu pa da mizangba sungu yore tenjo nangla mang chawa tenjarang sungu duwa do khache nangla yang lui tongba niji rangshen sungu yore wa tanda di tongni yi namcha zo zaldun chi ne sungu chakbara sha chorwa ya dagarang che ngazo namgyun chorwa di dungal wi rangshin zo sung nangire kaisa da le tangbo ba ngazo chorwa di la shenpa shukchumbo shuji shudurwa chorwa dewa di la pe shukchumbo shen dungal di pa pangdo yilo shukchumbo le di chedur ngazo nam nyensen maba di chedurang shukchugu yore wa dendre di chorwa di le pang panya saname di chorwa di pang war chawu chedu namgyu yong soda chorwa di rangshin di dungal ware yes dewa dang denzo di ta karasa ware negab samji le ma do ba khorwi chwe je rangshin di ta dungal wa shukchumbo che sungu yore sanji di do na khora na sakje thamji ne dungal wa wu sungshay ba yidu khorwa la negab dewa mangboji lep sigire di susum dewa de saye sembo je silva nangchare saye sembo silva de tani nima tochi sharwa ta koma kamdo goyore tabo tembo khaya milo yun ringwa da mangchawa nyayi de tungal we rangshire ta yongda di shukchumbo sungire ta danda chunju nangla ta soru rangshin wane de dedo tanyum khaya mandro ba dewa sikinde yang negab di tsal tsamji chagoyore 근데 동아를 쓰는데 내가 이제 잘 점제 차고요. 당념 속에 내가 빈 항당 점제래. 정말 저를 응원원에 대 말에 섬지 시를 대 가양 중요 말에. 된대 네 라신기 때라. 가상 된대 저 송소아. 다 단다 셈이야 다 마신제. 네. 다 셈대야 되는 가서 우리 당몽을다 쿠란 라신데 쉬션데 서로 숨바 셈자만야 워 샤바니 속주게 되베 선 나버셰베 레균디 나치 당상을 나서버 도마 나와데다 찍바시 이남 타데바 이남사 알랭월 셈데 월든 제거래 셈자만 야와셔바 제거고이나 셈세근데 강데래셔 아주 릴 세근데 다 강발락바 골라서바 망보지 촉비 촉된데랑 오진 제거래 소라선도 좀 대도 단념지 남바들랑 오진 제거래 근데 다 하나 셈선 가르래 대도 단념 용캔데로 와 대도 단념 용위 차디 소라 임바르데 용캔데 셈래 아니 되는 아주 얘가 메데 그전 챙겨줘요 어디래도 데 말에서 상황 냠바도 팔로 도기 출로 도기 미기 즉 통선의 남성들라 남도지 효용그래 함조지 예직 퇴받은 남성들라 상은 발면 남도지 효용그래 나고지 드마진도 받은 다른 거래 제 네 좋은 용어이나다 류제력적 용어이나도 고 남셔속 쭉 된저지 당 왕복 고주된 저지 율제단 절로체보다 남성들이 민정군된 아니 샤르 용건들라 네셈스게 바래 또 율제 ngo르밤 라기요레 율 카리는데 저랑신은 ngo르바 저위차들라 셈된 고된들와 다 대선지 찍래 다들에 다저당 고도와 되는 절슈는 야사로 나서
Yeah. Awesome. So here the parameter of wisdom has a few subdivisions. We looked at the identification of wisdom itself, and then we also looking at application wisdom to selflessness. When it comes to selflessness, there are two practices that enable us to realize selflessness, or two meditations. One on the selflessness of the individual, and another one on the absence of self in phenomena. among these two, we have finished looking at the selflessness of the individual. So we're looking at the absence of self in phenomena and how to establish that, right? Here is the absence of self in phenomena explained in the light of the 4 applications of mindfulness. And generally, when we hear 4 applications of mindfulness in the context of the more general Buddhist teachings, we will not right away think of the teachings of emptiness, right? Generally, the 4 applications of mindfulness are explained in a slightly different way in the general context. For example, when we meditate, we practice the application of mindfulness to the body. There we reflect on the unclean nature of the body, like unclean by its essence, in its nature. There are no teachings, there are no reflections there on the illusory nature of the body, on the empty nature of the body. Sometimes the Buddha did, if we consult the sutras, right, the direct teachings of the Buddha, we can see that sometimes the Buddha gave these kind of brief instructions on regarding the body, one's own body or bodies of others as an illusion, as a dream. But mostly in this, in the context of, teachings found in the sutras, the Buddha spoke on the unclean nature of the body. And here we are not concerned with that, with the general teachings of the sutras, but more with the kind of a very brief instruction of seeing the body as an illusion, as a dream, realizing its nature as being emptiness, shunyata. Well, same is for the feelings, the mindfulness or application of mindfulness to feelings. Generally, this kind of practice is done with, when we regard all the feelings by nature, that of suffering. And that's the general context of this mindfulness to the feelings. And the reason is because as beginners on the path, we have strong reactions to our feelings. We have attachment to really good and pleasant feelings, and we have aversion to the difficult feelings. So we always react. We either like and try to have more, or we have aversion, we try to push away. And so for the beginners who have such strong reactions, in order to give them up, the Buddha then spoke, first of all, to look at the feelings and see that all of them by nature, that of suffering. Now we might object and say, well, but sometimes I feel really great, and it's like, real happiness seems to be there. Well, the Buddha gave an analogy to illustrate that kind of experience in our samsaric existence. He said that those happy moments are like morning dew on the blade of a grass. As soon as the sun shines bright, it dries up. It doesn't stay there for too long. That the drop of dew is so transient, and so are also our feelings of happiness. We try to grasp, we try to keep, but they are very, very transient. And so actually the Buddha spoke of all the feelings, neutral and happy feelings and sad feelings, in their fundamental underlying natures, that of suffering, right? He said that all defiled emotions are suffering, and defiled means any feeling that is mixed with our mental poisons is by nature suffering, is going to bring us suffering. But here it's not what we find in the text. Again, we're not looking at that level of more general teachings. We're looking at the more ultimate kind of meaning of the feelings. And on the ultimate level, all our feelings, whether neutral or happy or sad, positive, negative feelings, they lack the intrinsic nature of their own. They're not truly established from their own side, right? It's nothing but the mental imputation. So what about the mind then? Well, the mind, it's the same about the mind. We can look at the text first, where on top of page 31, it reads that consider the mind that is made up of the 6 collections of consciousness and investigate whether this stream of consciousness appearing in various aspects, earlier and later moments, positive and negative states, and so on, is a single thing or several different things. So here we're going to investigate our mind. So, but first is, we have a question: what is the so-called mind? The body, well, that was a bit easier, right? We kind of, body, we think it's a sum of the parts, of its parts, right? It's this kind of collection, sum of different parts. But what about the mind? Well, the mind is what we call the mind is what is clear, what is aware, and what is the experiencer of, for example, experiencer of all the feelings, right? When feelings arise, it's the mind that experiences them. It's the thinker. It's the experiencer, it's the thinker. For example, whenever we see something like a beautiful thing or we hear a sound, we have some feeling, we have some reaction like sensation, and we have some story right away about it. Oh, I like it. So we have pleasant sensation. Oh, yes, yes. And then we have the whole narrative. So that what experiences, what feels, and what thinks is the mind. And it's very much so. And we speak of the 6 collections of consciousness. So the 5 sense consciousnesses and the mental consciousness. And so, of course, the 5 sense consciousness is very much connected with the faculties, with the sense faculties like eye, ear, mouth, nose, right? But it's not the faculty itself, right? It's the one that experiences and perceives and thinks about what has taken place. So that's what we call the mind.
Also, Tsondru number shabar yundi ngama chena sangala soba tumar nawadi ta chena sangala soba tumar nangende semin lagerwa nangede ta sem number mendo mangbo nangede jo chigre tang khagare lagere pena migi so tongwa da nawe thatubi number shaba namje chok ni yong chogre dagana je namje chok tuyorwa 진짜 상마 찍으래다 가가래서 찍이나 안는 가서 미기 다 가르진 되도록이요 말해 함적이 제마 가르진 되도록이요 말해 대토월에 변구이래 타대 바이 타 가서 그래 타대 이남나 안는 가서 미질라 샤바 망보 여러 여바레베 세 망보 여바레베 나라라 세 망보 휴요 가서 수지 된거 말어와 샘디 찍인 된거 말어 니 소미시 나도 여바 가서 된거 말해 저도 도스타는 남시제 쪽 쪽당데 망고 쇼진 항용도 상망 어느 찍이라기도 뭐 찍어서는 내가 찍 가르진 제게요 말해 근데 삼다나야 다 찍다데 가르람나야 민도 버서로지 다 양시아바지 균중중 질라 삼다나야 나도 삼다나야 다 괜히 쉬어서지 오마젠지를 보도 삼다나 아 시아바지 당아조 단다 단년대라 단년비 시아바 깨진감지를 말하면 레그래 당아마다 천만이 찍으라다 다들래 그래서 삼다나야 찍이서나 아니 시아바 감마다 치마차거래 치마대 감마차도 그래 대들람나 때는 아주 뒤에서 정보지 차토야 가면도 시아바지 윤가 라베 가면도 가상 아주 그 둘전지를 받아야 돼 직바르도 그냥 가상 뒤지를 받지 않다니 봐 갈바 자그래 자기 말해서 근데 직바르 나 계제 치마 시야 돼 감마랑 시야감마 치마 시야 시기 위해서는 시아바 계제 균 민로 레발라 거바 가면 봐 차사래 이 시아바 계제 니바디 시아바 많이 받자고 콜로 율 가면도 시아바스도 율 하고 근데 로지가 나오고 와 계제 니바지 가라 하고 그래 아니 계제 당번에 하고 서로 니바지 하고야 이는데 현서 쇼차고 그래 야는 계제 당번에 하 마고 바지 계제 니바지 하고 그래 람나 대양되네 삼라당 거버로지도 와
Kempala, ti natsodanta di tivadi natsugyunra, kichik dampoda kichik nima gyunla tadeina, ra?
그래
Tadeina,
다 깨진 가마다 균 Jigin Sonayan Digimara, Tadi Nan Digima, Kaza Jigina,
Chikakoso.
Keji
Yeah.
Jun Kazulana, Chikagora, Kaza Tadi Ina.
Mm-hmm.
Then Name Jaha Magoaji, Keji Chimba Hakogara, Hakoaji, Shengere. Zero. Ha Magoaji, Keji Chimba Jaha, Shegres and Labayina. And Keji Namaji Yul de Tatana, not Amjunian, but Tati Mahimba Chicha, Keji Nibadi the Himbaroji in Kogura. Dendene yangi yujima, niga haku haydi tana tadirangre, kaya yundirangre. Tadi uma jinjiriba dendero chiyoba, ngama dang chima ni chikwa yinan riksa mara, chima yinam kagare lamna yang rigi minduwas. Ta xeba ji ngo chikrangre san tachuna, ta kaya ngo rangshin rupa yu mara, kaya nang chokare lamna, tene kechi ngamchi dhamenda mindo sotu yuru yuji mindo yung choku yore. Rangshin ki tenpa rupa, stem tsekin ngo rangshin tenpa rupa yin tensa wajala. 아니 카가rellam나 천조여래 찍으rellam나 카 천조지 차기도 와.
Yeah. Di tadegi rikpadi da kechik dampadi haku ishindu kechik nipadi gyopa da gyomsenchik jabo yongi marera.
Re. Kechik tak tandaji taji kodigura amjogi. Amjo tagudiga diga sheba taji dende chigla segol chig tongdo tojlo sheba gun tugju rengalep sarawa. Dende lebde kechik amjo tagda lebde deji gun ngama sheba di chimbaji ha guguri kogu mare. Ha kogi mare namna kechik ngama di ta sheba chigda nipa di ta ma sheba roja lap kogurwa. Tagara ha kogu yore namna kechik nipa somba le koba kimzen kaya tongon mido. Tambon ha ko sara yangje yangje she koba kimzen kare yore. She sarju yangje she kogu marwa. Dende roja lamna chigido.
Awesome. Dene tamadi dijamadi natso da chik yulda nyulchen da jamita.
Lazo. Ngobo sem second rangshin ki temba duba me na gyujin tendel de kaya nang chogere san tendel jiri ba beju na yerwa. Ye digi yore. Rangshin ki temba duba yo na dhamma na digi mare. Nang chi men nang chuni men nang wa yung go yore.
Okay. So here the author poses a few questions, right, to research this so-called mind. Is it truly there? Do we really have it? So what is the mind? Well, it appears in various aspects, right? Earlier and later moments, right? That's what we say, this is the mind. So we can ask then the question, is this a single thing or it's several different things? If we say it's the same thing, then the 6 collections of consciousnesses, so we have the hearing consciousness, seeing consciousness, right, smelling consciousness, and so on. So what happens if we say it's one single thing is that, well, why do we have different consciousnesses then? Why can't I smell, something? Why can't ear see? Why can't nose hear? And so on, right? It does make sense to say that it's one and the same, all those different consciousnesses. Well, let's say it's different. They are different. It's several different things, but no one thinks that no one thinks that, oh, I have many minds, right? I have this kind of multiple minds. Usually there is this kind of my mind. It's, one singular thing. We can also think about this in terms of a continuity. And here we can use the reasoning found in the scripture, in the treatise entitled The Ornament of the Middle Way, the Madhyamika Alankara by Shanti Rakshita. And there he investigates this continuity, and he uses the reasoning of being neither one nor many. So if we have this continuity of the consciousness, let's say hearing consciousness that just heard the sound. So continuity means that the moment and when we hear it, this kind of short moment can already be split into 60 moments, right? It's like really, There's always, it's not like one thing we're hearing and it's one event. It's really split into moment after moment after moment, right? One moment ceases, next arises. So we think there's this continuity. But if we investigate the continuity, is it truly there? Is it same or different? Well, each moment, each falling moment, is it the same as the previous one or is it different? Right? If we research, if we investigate, what is this continuity of moments that perceive something, that conceive of an object like sound, or could be form, smell, thought, right? Could be anything. It's just an example. We choose one as an example. Well, let's say there's this continuity. If we say that the second moment of this continuity, does not, let's see. No, let's think like this. The first moment of continuity, we ask a question. Does it really conceive of the sound? Does it realize? Does it, really process that object, the sound, or not? Does it conceive of it? Well, we say, yes, I guess it hears the sound. If it does, what about the next moment? If the first moment did conceive of the sound, there's no need for second and third. Why we need to hear it over and over again? The first one already did the job. It's done. So if the first one realizes, then Shanti Rakshita says there is no need. It becomes needless to have second and third. It's like, just repetitive work. There's no need for that. If, however, the first moment did not conceive of its object, let's say sound, then how would the second moment conceive of that? Why would it suddenly conceive it? The first didn't. It doesn't make sense. If the first didn't, the second would also not conceive of that. But if the first did, why there is a second moment anyway? So Shanti Rakshita investigates in this way the idea of continuity and kind of shows that the connection between moments of continuity of the mind, they cannot be either same nor different, because then it doesn't make sense. They cannot be one or many. Well, we can think of, if we still think the mind is something that has an inherent nature, like it truly exists, truly means it has this true existence. Well, but if it has true existence, then it will never change, because true existence means that things remains loyal to its existence, to its true nature. True nature means that it's always there. It's like a core of that thing, and it's not going to change, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't call it true existence. And so if the mind has true existence, then there will be never all these multiple experiences that it undergoes. There's positive, negative states, as the text states, and so on, right? Actually, dependent origination will not be possible. If something has true existence, then it will not be dependent on causes and conditions, different circumstances. It will not be affected by anything, or any kind of circumstances. So it'll just always remain like the same as before. That's what we mean through nature. And we see that it's not the case about the mind, right? It doesn't seem to be that it, always the same and permanent entity that does not change whatsoever, or does not really depend on any circumstances. Khenpo la kerangi microphone. Aichidu.
Tene kadam mega dedam made choda chumin gadu chadang la soba nawa samde chik inam tade bashi in la soba ta tani ngazo samde la kap su gawi namba je yungre kap la megawe namba je yungre kap la teba mayimba ta tende la soba sam namda mangbo je ge yode samje ngo tenso sangma chigre dang redo dang tadere do ne tayarwa 가서 대 상마 찍인 소나 가와 다 메가원인 갈로아와 갈로니 집 안에 용스서래 선 가와디랑 메가와인 남나 근데 현도 쇼지 작으로와 메가와디랑 가와를 남나 빼면서 현도로와 아니 가메가당 가도다 기도 다 선도 서로 담인다 선도 중스그래 서로한테 거랑 가가 이나야 서로 한것은 만근 선로와 기도 랑년 라소바 가르 상마 찍바 찍냐라는 것들이 가서 쌤디 때뭐 가면 그 처음에 주지 차그래 상을랑도 가 현재 재미시해 봐서 된다 말어 가가가가 여러 기도 가가를 가도 가가를 대마대 가가를 쳐단 쳐만 있어서 뭐 로가라도 제대로는 아니 찍으려면 됩니다 다 어느 쌤 나와 탐제 타대 버려라면 된지도 오지는 가서 쌤 망보 쇼줘 봐 차그래 가고 쌤 가가 두고 쌤 가가 대바제 쌤 가가 동알제 쌤 가가 아주 쌤 쇼지 매질 쌤 망보 쇼줘 봐 차그래 매질 쌤 망보 요래라면 향상으로 와가는 쌤 찍어도 쌤 전바 망보 요라고 와 대 강사절을 때는 쌤 망보에는 돌아 가서로 셰주 니 명아 쓰기로 쌤지 윤 찍마도 니 숨이야 말해 근데 근데 망보 요라는 또 창조제 자기래 잔데 면dik 받아오지래 찍으려면 상마지만 미세 받아오지래 어느 쌤 거나다 도다 면도람 쌤네 나서 나와다면 샤르켄데 인도선 오늘 한견도 주도와 다 강대라면 트랜서 주구조사로 지선 얘기면 도와 찍라서 받아 된대 주고네 찍 가도 차단라서 받나 웃음 되다 찍이남 타대 바신 인라서 받다서 다 된대 지네 근데 다저 당쇼서 다 찍이 뭐냐 알랭 뭐네 전에 찍이 뭐 얘기도 돼 봐. 녀선은 쌤디 간대지기 뭐네 대위 뭐라도 당 미대위 뭐라도 당 최지 뭐라도 최면이 뭐라도 당 아주 소소제와 샘진 레샤 아주 되는 인도는 샘진 뭐네데 가서고 동알지랑 뭐로지 인사래 야나 최 마임비 뭐로지 인사래 되네 텐스 그래 되네 ten기나 아니 나저 갑고량 대위 나바게 용고도 까벌 최지 나바야 샤르 용고도 다 된서 샘진 뭐 말해배 샘지 오늘 내가 말해배 내가 샘지 내가로 양 아주 최당 대화의 기본을 가장네 샘진 오늘에 최라샤 아니 샘지랑신데 대화를 된게나 동아다 최마에 막 가르진 섬게 용거래 샘진 뭐 많이 받지 샤르 용거래 대양 적사 말와 저도 찍으려면 민들 다들라면 민들 다 찍다데 강도 네 두고 요 말 알량거나 민도라면네 민정 권자 상마 샤르 용거도 도라면은 거라 방신거는 강들에서 그 딘딘 당신데 가서 중내 도좀 뇌를 따고 지쳐버나지 샘네 따지쳐 초그래 샘 가원에 려서 단다 딱 깨지 뒤도 정보 삼다는 거 말이야 단다 단단 가서 텐신비 나와지도 텐신비 샘데 가원에 중송 잘라디 남도데 가월로 두고도 남도데 딱 선을 샤르인 거래 또 라우도 그래 달랍서 가원에 레고도 렙서 히자서나 니 하고 쇼래 배전에 그 말해 와야 샘디 타 다음에 텐고다 타타타타타 텐 그래 깨지라 그런 좀 맞지 디 템바레레레 가원에 레고도 깨진가마지 뉴바슈크들 레고도 당 양나 대마이바 카가진 레고도 ngamaji shuk dena lebde kabwala ngamadla samla chune madang ba dena lebe ngore yulle lebu dula na kabwala yul mi suda tira rikja la so ba khaya mata na yang meeting ko na chenza chen ngore di khawane lebre ane di chela tin 10,000 ko khawa la do ko sam ta dena zan ne ge men na namka le timba khora namka na lag jo do sam khora na lebde ko na la do gore ko shime cha da re nye 중내 도스는 걸 삼로도나 니게 가야 말아 쓰는데 어딘데로 저 따지던 그래서 나서
And the text continues, it reads, consider whether all these various states of mind that appear, like and dislike, faith and lack of faith, states in accord with the Dharma and not in accord with the Dharma, happiness and sadness, attachment and aversion, and so on. Are they same or different? Right? We need to consider, are they same or different? All these positive and negative states of our mind. If we say that they all are the same thing, well, sometimes we have attachment, right? That is produced in our mind, and sometimes the mind experiences aversion. If it would be all the same, it would be, it's just impossible to be the same, because attachment, aversion, happiness, sadness, all the states are at odds with each other, right? They are in contradiction. If it's attachment, it's not aversion. If it's aversion, it's not attachment. If it's like, it's liking, and it's not dislike, because they are really opposite things. So we can't say it's one and the same, right? Like one mind that's the same, then, because we all experience all those various states. But what about then different? If they all, different? Well, if we say, all of this is different, then we have to say that we have many minds. The mind that has attachment, the mind that has aversion, like, dislike. But no one thinks like, oh, I have so many minds or many streams of consciousness. We do assert we have one stream of consciousness that changes and experiences various things, but it's one stream of consciousness, right? But if we try to find this one, stream of consciousness with various moments, we can't pin it down. Which moment there is actual mind? Each moment comes and goes. So is there anything that endures? We're looking for anything that endures. We're not saying, oh, this doesn't even happen, right? We're not saying there are no such experiences that take place. They do, but is there actually the so-called mind that is somewhere there behind the scenes of all those experiences? It cannot be one mind that has all those experiences, because they would all be the same, and it doesn't make sense. And it also cannot be kind of different, because we would end up with multiple minds, right? No, we can't really pinpoint the sort of mind. Where is the mind, and what is its true nature? Right? We might think, well, as ordinary being, the true nature of my mind is this kind of non-virtuous, non-dharmic, and it's that of suffering. We might think that, but then if it were its true nature, why do we sometimes feel happiness? Why do we sometimes feel these kind of states that are in accord with the Dharma? Real joyful, trust or enthusiasm, kind of aspiration to practice the Dharma. If it's the true nature of the mind was that of non-dharmic and that of suffering, well, we would never be capable of experiencing joy, trust, faith, compassion, right? The states that are in harmony with the Dharma, this the happy moments of mind. Or would we say that when we experience them, they are not our mind, like they're just something different? No, we won't. We all would say, well, that's the working of my mind. But if the true nature of the mind is non-dharmic, well, we would never be able to experience those moments, because true nature means, well, it will never be something other than itself. So it seems to be that, we can't really pin down like one true nature of the mind. Well, we can also ask a really simple question, and we did this already, this kind of reflection yesterday. Where does this mind come from? Where does it remain, and where does it go? This is a really good exercise to search for true nature, like enduring nature of a phenomenon. Now we're investigating the mind, right? We don't need to think of mind as some general abstract thing. No. The mind of this moment, right now, right this moment, you're experiencing something. You're hearing, you're experiencing, you're thinking. That very moment, where did it come from? Like, try to find, we might say, oh, it came from previous moment. But previous moment could be, completely unrelated. We were thinking about, I don't know, right, apple pie, and suddenly we're thinking about, the teaching. The thought of the teaching could not have come from previous moment if it was completely unrelated. We might not even have thought anything. We were just in a blank state, no thought. But like, why does then the thought of present moment came from? Perhaps we'd say, oh, the conscious mind usually comes in relation to some object that it conceives of, right? I conceive of something, there's an object, and then that's the experiencing subject also appears. But sometimes there's no object, and we think really weird, strange things unrelated to anything that we see, hear, experience. Really, really weird thought, unrelated to any kind of object out there, completely bizarre. unrelated to previous moment. Like, where did it come from? Like, really, where does it remain? If we try to grasp to it, like, right, how does it, it's not there already. Okay, but where did it go? We might try to find where that mind went. Try, okay, it went, which place? Can we ever even point to any place where that thought, went to? It might be like it went to the space and dissolved back, I mean, not back, but dissolved in space. It's kind of that kind of experience that we might feel like, oh, it's just like gone into, into this kind of open space. And then if we do if we investigate in this way, we will be left with this a real vivid experience that our mind is without basis, is without a region, is without any enduring core.
So 다들 뭐서다 지기나 샘직라 가도 차나나서 도마라 당 규지인다 대단 내가建议원고 교로 인함나建중세 기장 만주르신 율 강당 율 강당 마체베 섬랑이 뭐 제도시 인 제도시 어딘데 대 여바시가 매바시 감 딱바시가 매다바신 라 인 미타바시 냠바 라소바 도메 양다 양도 달라 섬심에 자절도 될라 파보 수비를 다 제도 섬님 뭐다 찍고 찍인 다된 따져당와 다 찍인 다된 인남나 대천소주도 가서 찍인 등기회나 다 된지셔게 계절도 돌아래 가서 섬라 가와 도바 야가 아니 가서 대 메달라서 나온다 메다 망보시 샤는 것이 샤는 거를 대교 가르라 되는 중화래 이 가운데 중화래 아니 지금 대어는 단의 중심바 이나에 단의 가와로도 섬 된전 항심바데 류 이치로라도다 류지 나로라도다 된je 바로 셴바질로도 류지 치로라요나 아니 야나 담미기 속 통신배 갑라 섬로다나 섬르전 군전데 수라도게 수지라 통는 가와께서는 가와데 수강라 여바레베 가와데 수강라 여바이나 소 나지 소데라 통는 가와께서는 미 셴바데 한데라 가와께 고주레데 미 셴바데라 미카제데라 미가와 가르진 게고요레 미카제데라 그 가베가 가야 멤버지 가르진 게고요레 와 아니 율파랑 다율 랑신 좀 만도 따져다는데 양아죠 최첨만 여러셔 보고서 계시 초그래 근데 인데 다율 체로로 두셈 체로로 열람다 가서 삼로 땅땅도 배 가가래 남윤 가서 셈데 체로로 수지 된거 말아 셈데 율 가라 여선 셈데 율라 쇼르고 여래 랍그라마도 셈율 다가랑 체로로 여바래 남나 아주 남윤 제 삼로다마도 배 체로도 겨사래 근데 용게 아마랄라 용쓰게 말아도 뭐변에서도 미튼 밖에지래 아니 셈데 루지 낭라 돌람나 루지 낭 가와려요 짜이자만에 손다 마게 강텔 버디 제바쳐서는 가와요 빠베단라 도다 르바지 된라 도다 야 규마다 침발라서바 낭철지 된라 도다 밑당 레바당 어 딘서제 강라 도다 데닝 강라 도다 차라도 따데네 데네치에서는 나로라 내가 말 따데니 친한 가야 많이 봐 발라 섬지 내가 돌람나 어때네 체야 많이 봐 낭 많이 봐지 가와려래 리체나 많이 봐 바로지 짤다 녀사르베 리치노니 가야만 뭐 바로 얘기야 말아 요양요 말아 제도서는 단다 지내서 그런 예도기는 셈데 근데 인도 안다 셈데 뭐라 신데 도바디 간지 얘기면도 되게요 양 가서 되네 만년도 양 남도 되는 거서 그래서 그래 다디 상금 바르만다면데 셈나 샤리아도 데도 단요 담면데 샤리아디 텐 담면들 때는 중화래 라고요 와 저기도 다견 담면들 견 좀송나 맞아 남도 메정군에 챙겨요 선지 나와담데 샤르겨요 다디케 카가체 견 가야 맞아 버제 별로 대신 백갑라 율 상금 범 칸 제로 메부로 찍고 별로 데데 가서 다 견한 셈데 가와려요 셈데 가리 랑신데 오늘 강들에 보다 디가서 삼도 땅다 디가서 셈데 여바르다 매바 인견 삼도 땅 여서나 때문에 대도 다니면 강인 걸로도 대고 대오차고 기견냐 묘세 가마트 버제 동할 차베 때냐 묘세 대테요 말에 로와 다 대도 다님 가르래 상년 바로마지 가르섬래 된데 값서 되는 셈데 Jiji Deji Mebaroji Lag Dugure. When the same the not on Merebe, Diam Maroa, some such as a salary in Orwa. That's the Yaba Meba carried. When the same the Tende Tembersem the Tag Medayang, some of the Chodo, some the Tagba in the Meta in the same Tagba Tadizo. Sem Tagba Rangshin Retingo and a Kadu and a Tempe Jun the Chipachigan in Gogure. Jun Kora Lamna Diga Marwa, Ale Tagba Lamna. Jura mebajigo, Jun Yosa Vajala, Jura Yosa, Jura Tepsare. Some Jun Mebare Lamna, then quote the Tagba in Gorwa. Teni Lamna Tinangazu, some not Kajala, Mendo Medomo, shoot Juriangudua. What are the Carrere? Tagba Lamna de Judogudua. Some Metaba Yin Tengi and Lamna. Judakin La Ralebra, something more Rangon to Bakanya to Mendo. Kira sem second the Rangshin Jutuba, and also Tempadi, the Metasha Juredua. What in there, Las Obayago, Chitan Tajet Tawina, some second the Rangshin Tuba Kayamba, in a dumb chokure, the Kazan Shimba, Karasabore. You married Umaji Shunkapsu, Dansanje Kaparba, sending me Bichu Kolo Dinzanala, so Meta, Mamosungure, Messed Meba Mejan, San Meba, the Nejila, Koalangshana, Bet Norware, Tenela Mar, Rangun Tubam, Ranshin Jutuba, Messugure. The Mimarubachi Uma Jinja, Javan, Latinesura, Ranshin, Temper to be Cheshes, Tenekasur, Kellingen, Umabasu, Yomares. Yena now Kagan, now came Milligan, now background Kagan down, now came Milligan Umach Payere Belana, Tansan Yamara Severe. Should now go to Bamara Yokarwa. Semia Nangu Chajirwa. In a number of the temper to Bamara Severe, Nazo Tanzanji shoot erwa, did Tanzan the Kagure, Turbaji shoot it, Namdoji shoot it. Tongba needs it is a turban and talo, Namdola Deba Lavere. Continue, Namdola de Turba and Talsidus on some Shimetsara Labduzana. Now to me, how you Roger Tenguana, deep at Kronor somewhere. No, I'm just telling us, young Gogure, Dilla Lloyd Zindokaya Mashobachu Gogure. No, so.
If we decide that they are one, so all those states that were just various states of mind mentioned above, consider what the cause could be for a single mind appearing in several modes, such as happy, sad, desirous, angry, and so on. If we think that these states arise due to temporary circumstances, then consider what mind is like in its essence when it's not even slightly affected by conditions and not in contact with any object. Is it existent or is it non-existent? Is it permanent or impermanent? Analyze the mind again and again with thoughts such as this and arrive at the certain conviction that the mind is without basis or origin. If we consider the various states of our mind, happy, sad, spiritual, non-spiritual, all of those, do they have this kind of one single cause for all of them? Well, that would make them all, coming from this one single, can say, entity, or like, let's say, if they will pretty much make them all the same. And that was the reasoning that we have seen above, that they cannot be the same because, well, those states of mind are in contradiction, like attachment, aversion, like, dislike. So it's not possible that they are kind of same, right? If we, let's see, if we can actually try to find, we can try to find this present mind of ours and say, okay, if it does, have some cause, where is it? Where is the mind? No, so not the cause. Where is the mind? Is it outside of ourselves? Is it inside? Or is it in between? So we can now look for the mind and its location. If it's something that we affiliate with the object, we say, well, it depends on this kind of particular circumstance, right? Because the such circumstance or such object is conceived or experienced, so that's what is my mind, yeah? That's what makes my mind like liking, disliking, angry, happy, and so on. But if that was really, the mind was connected or dependent on that object, then everyone who sees that object by definition should end up having the same state of mind, because it's very much, right, the mind, it comes from that particular object, right? That mind, that thinker, that experiencer comes from that object, and everyone who sees the object would be like, oh yes, I like it, if we liked it. But it's not the case. Some people have a desirous mind coming based on that object, on perception of the object. Some have angry mind, some neutral. So it doesn't seem that the mind depends on that object, or kind of located, we can say, in the object. Well, what if the mind is somewhere outside of of the body, and somewhere else? This is something also really weird, because no one perceives that way, that we might think that, oh, my mind went out. We might think that sometimes, yeah, my mind is out, but generally we wouldn't think that we have mind that lives its own life outside of our body, elsewhere. But then we might say, okay, yeah, it's not outside, obviously. It's not in between. It's not comes from the object. So it's also not outside. It's inside. Well, if we conclude that the mind's cause or kind of location is inside of the body, well, we can then definitely locate it, right? Because if it's inside, it's right here. So if we search for it, we should be able to find it. But is that the case? We start looking for the mind in the feet, right? Is that, the mind is there? Is it maybe in the legs, or maybe it's in the organs? Maybe my mind is in the bones, or blood, or brain, or heart. I mean, we definitely can't locate, we will not be able to locate the mind in any of the body parts. So it's not outside of the body, because we don't think our mind has that life that just, the mind is on its own. And it's not in between, doesn't come from the encounter of some kind of object, because then it would mean that everyone should have the same experience, same kind of mind based on the same object. And it's also not inside, because we generally we look and search and we can't find it. Or if we think like, well, mind is just this thing that depends on all the circumstances, right? It's this experiencer that experiences this based on this circumstance, and experience something else based on some other circumstance. If we think it's just this stream of moments that are colored by experience, by circumstances, then we should try to investigate and try to find the essence of this mind, the mind that is not affected by any circumstances. When we are completely alone, relaxed, there's nothing, there's no sounds, we're in a really, really quiet place, there's no one around us, we're really at ease, completely relaxed, and we look. And then we try to find what is the mind that's right now not affected by any circumstances. And perhaps we will not find anything there. Maybe we won't find this kind of a core that is just there, right? And that just changes its colors depending on circumstances. Right? It's what is it? Because again, we'll have to ask, what is it and where it is, right? And is it positive, that essence, true essence of the mind that's that is independent of all circumstances? Or maybe it's negative. Is it happy? Is it sad? Can we really give any description to that mind when it's not affected by any circumstances? Because all these descriptions of the mind always depend on that specific circumstance, right? What is a mind just beyond all those circumstances? What would be its true essence? Can we really say it's positive, negative, this or that? Can we really ever find it and describe it? It's not really possible, right? And then we might think, well, that means there's nothing there. Like a mind is just this kind of like completely void blank, like, because it's not there. And, we think it's this oblivion, shut down, like, nothing. But it's not true. Mind, even though there's no true essence of the mind, and still we say that experience is very cognizant and clear. It's not this kind of nothing blank, and we go into that space when we don't find mind. Actually, it becomes even more clear, more cognizant, just that there's nothing to grasp onto. In that state, there's nothing that we identify as true and real, and so then all our fixations fall apart. And yet it's not like we are completely blanking and there's nothing at all and we're just kind of shutting down. This is very vivid presence, and yet there's nothing true and real to it, and yet it's there, right? We can also, investigate based on what text says here, if it's permanent or impermanent. We might think, if the stream of mind cannot be permanent. The stream already means change. The continuity of the mind means a change, because the one moment changes into another. It's momentary by its nature, so it cannot be the same and permanent, right? But if it's impermanent, again, we have to ask, is there something that's completely independent, that intrinsic nature that's independent of all other circumstances? So when we don't find the mind in, using all those different reasonings, so whatever reasoning works for us specifically, we should rest in that space, open space of not finding, and yet things will still keep arising. So this is not a complete nothing, blank voidness, right? Not finding its true nature doesn't mean that appearances cease to arise. Mipam Rinpoche famously stated in his commentary on the Ornament of the Middle Way, the Dhyamika Alankara, that there is not a single middle way proponent, Madhyamika proponent, who believes in a speck of true existence. And yet, he says, there is not a single middle way proponent who blocks, who prevents appearances from arising. So it's this paradox of both. There is no true existence, and we can't grasp to it because, well, we didn't find it. So we should let go into that space of not finding, releasing all our fixations, releasing all our mental concepts and deliberations. That's what we mean emptiness. To understand emptiness, we need to understand it as freedom, complete freedom from all mental constructs. It's the state of simplicity, going beyond elaborations. And when we don't find true existence, that kind of intrinsic nature of phenomenon, here we investigated the mind, there's nothing to grasp onto, and we let go. And yet it's not a blank state where nothing arises. Appearances, they don't cease to arise, and yet there's no grasping. So that's the state that middle way philosophy leads us towards through all these investigations. Khenpo microphone can nakchadu.
So ta di yin je ngozo rigba umi tenza chumbo shi na ne zo chewa jik tu dal de rigba pe jodang nang do wa ta xeba chue chamba nyawar shaba de ne tanda palru chumbo shi gi tendal chumbo rigba pe jodang na ja chamba ta xeba chue chamba nyawar shaba ne tendara lu tsor sem sum le xembe du xie dang du je du ma che sum di du be chue tam je ja gyu gen tenjele kebe cherna rangshin tembar ma chube tonye chube ta tamje dang chalwar tenla pabne gonzo kyoma milam tabu robe chagdun pangwe choban jazo la labchen songna do chede ta riba tamje di ni gyalbo tenjel chumbo riba peche dang na tenjel Chamberiba Kangla and Pejotan Chogu. Gula Choba Doja Sami Tenze Kapso Yang, Tendel Chumba Pejotan Chogu. Ta Gyujin Tendel, Gyujin number Zomsona, Dev Jungchogu, Manzona, Jungchogu Mare. Gyujin Du Mandula Rale was. Then Chick to Dralji Kapso Yang, Tendel Chumba Pejotan Good. Tendel Chumba Riba, Chichap, Yonsoba Tamjila Chaba, Riba Tamji, Jalbo in Sibir. Tendel in Zang and Tanana, Tanda Karasovere. Churchman Yarshabola, Kandepeju Tanking, Sedu, the Lu or Sem from the Shambaji Duhet and Dujet and the Sevidon Duhet, that Kasuri, Pena, Nozosa, Nyal, Ro, Dukes, and Chulam number Shisigua. Chulam number Shibo, the Ranshin, number Drubo Dube, some Dustan and Azu, Yobarujin, Hungary, Yabu, Samlatanda, Yomare, Tebatan, Ro Anila, Samadana, that Tebatan, Langanyilam, and Rigua. Lang the Tessa and the Lang Balatin, Teba the Tasha. Tebala and the Lang the Tasha. Draw down Hongs and the Young, and there's a Tojin Shagurwa. Draw the Chok Shambajin at an draw at the Chok Hagajin Tana Homarwa. When they draw down on the carrier. There's a Tojin Shagura Mado, Rangon on the Dronji Duge, and the Anaja Ringtung Ringbu down Tungtung second. When they're turning over Rangshin Ringbu Juyana, call Ringbu Kwana in Gogre. Chok Shambajilla Tenako Tungtung Chagre, Young Chok Hagajilla and Korimbu Chagre. Ringtung second. And Kara Sangwa the Nambasaka Taranwa. There's a Turgeon Shabaramato, Rangon the Tribe, Sangwachita, Rangon the Tribe, Nambaja, San to be a mare. But the Chilatunachi Shabasam Jere to Wosa. And in Kasota Sorwa, Dujetini, Duje Dumaja Yichoya and Taranwa. Tao Duje Sedusan, Kujan Tendel Zumbi, Metabe Chodun Zore. The Maja Sedusana, Kujan Tendel Tomi Namkada with La Labuerwa. Tadi number second young Rangon Tongba Mika Meba Juheres and Ujumaro, Azuji Samji Sueshajura. Samji Sugdang, Tala Soba Toya, than Reya, than Gabala Soba Yabache, Dinzu maybe shot the Tongsha de la Namka Yinda Shagure. Chilla 20 Shagura Matoba, Rangon and Namka second and Yamare, and Duji Chanya, but Duji Dumaja second, Chilla 20 Shagura. Matambon and Namka Yabache, and the Deji Karakore. Duji the Chell left your Sotoji, the Nigeria Lama, Yomaruto Sotoji and the Shabare. And the Tetu Tanyum Sorola, some of the Tetu Tanyum Second, Chilla Chicken and Shadura Modo, Ramona Tubakan Mendoa, Judang do second, then she was Chijana, Julatin and Dulat in the Curo, was a Pata, Lela show, some of the Amadang Pugunilas in the Digrua. Amadang Pu. Amadi, when Amarang Rev, Chat, Jaja Amarelam, Cochejugas and Amaingo Grua. Marua, Kola Puguji and Shinako Amashare. Tangbon Ama in Jumara. There's a Tujan Shagura. Tangbon Ama is on a Puguchung Ama Kandri Yungre. The coil Ama de Pugudia, Namjana Yang Amashasigrava. Namjana, Puyina Yang Namjana Abashasigrava. Tangbon Aba Mara, Amayamare. Could call a Doji Junza, and could you mean the Togure. Korang la Juyu by in some quality do the Ming Tojo. There's a Tujan Shabara model, over Rangon and Koran, you in by and Drubia mother, do in by and Drubia mother. Chilla Tunechi Shabara, then as a Pajo Torjos against Chibare. When a Pajo Cardo, Sorjo Carade, Neta did not Sorjo Lagurua, Pajo than a Koran Sorjo Lagurua, Nepala Lagur, Palagre, Nesu Lagre, Pajo de Koran Sulagre, Pasos of Monacare, Jabdunia Chibarwa. Chok Gaoneta in Kaji. Matoba, one Rangon the tribute to Jabdun in Nare, Tessa, Yul Castle, Teng the Og in Nare, Rimbodan Tondo in Nare, Dujet and Dumaji in Nare, Sound and Yamba in Nare. But that is Sama, Tene Shabara, Matoba, Rangon the Dubachi, Sunday, in Yegu Yamare. Judeji, Samladana, Tene Chumbare, Ten Mashama, Tamachula, Tenechi Shabasamre. Then Matoba, Rangon the Tangman the tribute, Yabujedang, Sangpo Jedang. Then I can't do me doa. That did nothing. Corot and Yangal de Vance Chogre. Nazota Yangal de was second to Sangbo Yabo Choto, but how should you do Sanjago Mare? Coras of the Yambang Arazo Tungan Yamber did Pangjar, the Netingure. Coro and Yang de second, Chilla Tunichi Shabar. I let Coro Rangshin Juba Negi, Masama Tangure. Yabu Chabach and Negamare. Coro Rangshin Juba Manis on a code you pang we, could you doctor Yangal de Bacandation Salore. Call you. 니가 섬기 드었던 샤교 잠주로 섬기 나 짐바 요링들라 거로와래 나 짐바 석근데 빵사오질라 냥대로 그래서 또주는 샤고 봐서마도 랑원의 거로와는 냥알에 대버 두버지 여 말해 상제다 섬진세가 찍어지냐래 그래서 또주는 샤교를 랑원의 주변 상제에 여 말해 섬제에 여 말해 상와 섬제도 전에까지 여 말해 나와도 대마 두버지 계제 개매 받더니 엄마 반남지다 도스타 주는 정도 이래 맞아.
So that was for the application of mindfulness to the mind. And lastly, we have the fourth application of mindfulness. That's the mindfulness to phenomena. So the text then reads, recognize with certainty how all phenomena other than the body, feelings, and the mind, so everything included within the three categories of perceptions, formations, and the unconditioned, also arise through the interdependence of causes and conditions, and are therefore lacking in true reality. Know them to be simply emptiness beyond every kind of conceptual elaboration. So up to now, Patrul Rinpoche, he drew mostly on the reasoning of being neither one nor many, or neither being same nor different, right? We have seen that that's kind of one of the 5 reasonings that he employed mostly throughout the investigations here. And in the last one, in the last application of mindfulness towards all phenomena, he actually uses the other reasoning, the 5th one, right, of the 4th, if we were to exclude the reasoning that investigates both cause and result. That's sometimes additional. But we have seen 4, right? Investigating cause, result, both, and the essence. And so till up to now, he mostly used the one that investigates the essence, being neither one nor many, right? But now here he uses the 5th reasoning, the reasoning of interdependent origination, which investigates all phenomena. And this is the main reasoning of the middle way philosophy. This is the royal reasoning, the crown of all other reasonings. It could be used at any occasion. It could be used together with the reasoning that investigates the cause, right? The diamond splinters argument could be used also at the time we investigate result. And it's possible because for as long as phenomenon that we investigate has originated based on causes and conditions, means it's a compounded phenomenon, a conditioned phenomenon, we can use this reasoning. And so basically, therefore, it applies to all phenomena, right? We can also use it at any time. And it's really, really great reasoning that we can use with our daily activities and really see like, oh, when does it really happen that we get up, we lay down, we eat, we walk, we sleep? Is it any of this is truly there? Is it really real and true? Well, for example, if you think of coming and going, we might say, well, that's really happening. But what is coming and going? From one side, when we look, we can say, oh, someone is going. But if we look from another side, of the other point of direction, we can say, oh, someone is coming. And we can see that it's really mutually designated ideas. It really depends, one depends on the other. Because there's going, we can say there's coming, because there's coming, there's going. And actually all phenomena are like that. So this reasoning works in a way that if we take a phenomenon and we say, oh, it's a long one, it's a long pen, but what is it? How can we really ascribe a longness to this pen, right? If we just look at this alone, we always impute some quality, some identity to a phenomenon based only on comparison to something else. This is long only in comparison to something that's shorter, but then we bring something longer and it becomes a short one, right? This finger is short only because this is longer, but then we take the other one and this one becomes actually a long one compared to other one. So this is what we call this kind of reasoning, yeah, of mutual designation. Everything is mutually designated. Nothing is established in and of itself. There is no long or short. In essence, there is nothing that can be long, nothing that can be short. There is nothing that, we can take it to and apply to all phenomena. Well, here the text says unconditioned, right? We can apply to perceptions, formations, and unconditioned. In Buddhism, we say that space is something unconditioned. It's not created through causes and conditions, but what is the space? Is it truly then there, since it's uncompounded? Well, space is only a designation based on its counterpart. When in Buddhism we say that anything that's tangible, that's abstracting, anything that is kind of that's tangible and has abstracting nature is not space. So space is just a label that we impute on anything that lacks the quality of being tangible and abstracting. It doesn't have its own essence in and of itself. It's only a mental imputation in comparison to something it is not. Yeah, we're only based on something it is not, we impute what it is, but it's not, it doesn't have its own nature. Well, we can think of causes and conditions. The best example for cause and result, for example, would be a parent and a child. Does a parent has actually true existence of being a parent, like mother has actually, she is mother by its true, essence? Well, then when she was born as a kid, she would already be a mother. It would be already with her. What makes her a mother is giving birth to a child. And so she's a mother only based on having a child. And the child, we can call a child only based on being born from mother. So actually, motherness is not a motherhood, but this is maybe not applied here. So being a mother is not something that is truly existent in and of itself. It's only dependent on an event, on having a child. And child also depends, we can call it a child because there's a mother, we can call her mother because there's a child. Everything is like that. Over here, it's not something that's truly existent is over then as being over here. Because for me, it's over here, but for you, this place is over there. And for you, where you are is over here, so-called here. But for me, it's there, right? Here, there, that mountain over there. We can say over there only because there is over here, right? So it's all mutually designated. We wouldn't have there without here. We wouldn't have here without there. Same is for good and bad. It's a mutually designated phenomena. Nothing has that as its true identity. It's only dependent on something else that would then ascribe that quality to a phenomenon. But in itself, the phenomenon lacks that identity of being good or bad. Samsara nirvana is like that as well. There's no true, samsara, because it's just a designation on the basis of nirvana, freedom from suffering. And samsara, is the state of suffering. So for as long as there's grasping to the self, we call it samsara. When there's no grasping, we call it nirvana. But it's not something that's truly there. Samsara has true existence. It's only a label that's mutually designated as such on the basis of having other state, which is called nirvana. But nirvana is also there only because we have samsara. Otherwise, we would never even have nirvana, which means literally passing beyond suffering. How would you pass beyond suffering if there is no suffering? And so they are completely, conditioned or interconnected. Sentient beings and the Buddhas are like that as well. Without being, there's no Buddha. Without Buddha, there's no being. Everything is just like that. It's interdependence of causes, conditions, and therefore all phenomena lack in true reality. Nothing has its own true reality. It's only designated in comparison in relation to something else. And that's what the middle way proponents assert. They arrive at that kind of conclusion that all phenomena are like that. They all simply emptiness that is, lacks any kind of conceptual elaborations. Because if you investigate, you see that nothing withstands analysis. Nothing is there after you analyze it. Nothing can be found as truly there. When you analyze, you take it apart, and everything is gone. Nothing that is there that will be still left after you analyze it. That's what we mean, not having any true reality. Or that's what the middle way proponents mean, rather.
네, 돈 담버 저 담제 랑신기 주바 둘섬양 매버 시베 강라양 셴바 매버 냠줄랑고 근데 진짜 저 담제 돈이 저바만들 뭐라 텐라 파비용도 네 된다는 거네 네 가르서 그래 저 담제 랑신 덴버 주바 제도섬양 매버 시베 코네 냠줄랑 탄행알라 아니 밀람다 규마다 강내 아니 가르서 그래 바로도 셴바 조든도 상마 아니 현장 매버 보네 냠존 라야라 베존난 고그레 스비게자레 타디 나네 공발루무제 고주디 갑서 사제 넘버 시샹나노데 타마 사제 찍디 살가랑 지게 송나미도 다 타마디 sabjedi
나솔라 요레
자랑스러워 두고요
디 군좁다 어디게 고츠네 군좁디 규만한신 어디네레
아니 다디도 다 돈다디 딜레 병고도와 제주 다 대우원에 가리고 그래서 이도서나 최탐자 랑신 마주바 다 돈다 패지 되는 랩도도와 최탐자 돈이 저절도 또 받는 아니 밀람도 규마도 오시고 그래 대셰비 또비 랑신 선전 탐자를 남남시도 인제해 보고 그래 그래서 최탐자 랑신디 템바 마주바 밀람도 규마도 오는 저바단 탈로래 레데 나서 상매 덴진 인진 센진 송대로와 제상 때는 나당 현선의 송 딜라테네 때 레망버서 딜라테네 때는 동알망 용도고요. 뭐버네 솔라 랑신 템바 주바당 뭐니 주바 때는 매베인데 디샤소나 동알 탐절라 랑신 타르고요. 이나 가서 디 zem바드 르당으로 맞어봐 인데 때는 섬전들라 감금 주게 닝제 전부지 개용고고요. 밀람 기ton 개마다 시아바당 해셔는 닝제 쫀매도 좋아. 된대되니 가르서 그래. 근데 약쇼 된소리 돼요. 다 타르도 산지 고마톱서나 디 야르제 드에르마도 해셔마 가요 말와. 근데 디체 디네 타마 두비 동al menjig보 아디 첼슈나 되사래. 나서.
Kaso. So ultimately, all phenomena are simply emptiness beyond every kind of conceptual elaborations. But what about relative? Well, we still exist within the confines of relative world, this kind of conventional existence. So we can see here we start the fourth topic, the result of practicing in that way, that by seeing the relative to be a mere display, like a magical illusion, or the experiences of a dream, we will train in vast enlightened activity in which the 7 kinds of attachments are relinquished. So with the understanding that on the ultimate level, all things and events lack even so much as an atom's worth of true existence, we will take this practice to heart without becoming attached to anything whatsoever. So ultimately, things lack the inherent nature of their own. We can call it true existence, inherent nature, right? Whatever we call that self, that self in all phenomena. But conventionally, they still do arise. And when we look at them and see that they're there, but they're not real, they're not true, we understand that they're like this magical illusion, that like mirage, like a dream. And from within that understanding, then we engage in the practice of the 6 paramitas without having attachment or fixation to anything, or to results, or to oneself, or to others. This is the result. So the best result of practicing in this way, of taking Bodhisattva vow, committing oneself to this practice, the best result is that we will have this natural I can say uncontrived, effortless compassion. Compassion is the best result of all these practices. Realizing that all phenomena lack true existence, they are not real, they're free of all mental elaborations, and yet sentient beings do not realize that, and they keep grasping to self and others, and out of that grasping, out of that dichotomy of self and others, they react and they act out, so they accumulate karma, and that leads to suffering, and that leads to even more and more suffering. So they kind of stuck in this loop of, splitting, even, having this fixation, dualistic fixation, self, other, from that comes actions, from that comes suffering, and so on and so forth. And seeing that actually it's all baseless. Their suffering is baseless because in the first place, there is no self and other. So seeing that things do not have that real existence, and yet sentient beings do not realize that and suffer needlessly, we feel overwhelming, very effortless, natural compassion for all the beings, right? This is the best result. Basically, Buddhahood is just the improved version of that, because, well, that's the point. Compassion and working for the welfare of all beings is the main result of all of these contemplations, of all of these practices.
So, Tamangwati, Louis Tungan, Menju, the Watam Jumine, Tambanya, Kurdina, Jeda, Urene, Gurchi, Sheba, the Abor Halbu, Meso, Geo, Tashiesa, Tamwa, Jedang, Omatema, Chutara, Rangshingi, Tusum the Sabe, Kawatam, the Chick to Dune, Tusum the Sanja, the Chanju Samanam, the Kade, Webanashi, Nemuin, Yamayina, Sozoki, Chetun, Yungoa Yundu, to Nevachuma Yungure. 아니 다 대책 거에 좋았으면 담절에 팬도 뭐 제주 규모는데 가르래 아니 다가나 준도 심전 담절이라 대화 중에 규모는 가르래 슬랍도 있잖아 되게 템버를 못 쳐래 슬랍 템버 롱도지 템버를 못 쳐디 먼저 심이 녀모 뭐네 디쳐도 버와 디인도잖아 데 템버를 못 쳐디 녀보다 꾸르지다 쳐서 다 퇴섬 검증당 데라든 tungen당 데네다 제베도네 제된 검증이 뭐 내서나 아니 미망보지기 되냐면 제거를 냐면 수당 수제 사람들은 받치는 갈래갈래 뭐 다르고 톱도로 와 제상들 상기 템바디 인터섬 검좀 주고네 인제는 유능부 돈네 버겨지 스터디 뭐 제버려샤 근데 아부 살보서는 발주 좀 보시기 참로와 콘크리트 나고 인사 되라는
And then comes the verse at the end of our text, the verse of dedication and making an aspiration prayer that reads, "May the Dharma, suffering's only cure and the source of all real happiness, always be valued and respected and remain long into the future." This was spoken by Regt Abu. May all the virtues and may all be virtuous and auspicious. So at the end of studying this text, of course, we are advised to make a dedication of our virtues of goodness that we have accumulated by studying, reflecting, practicing in this way. And you remember the teachings on dedication. We already covered that before. So how we should do the dedication is that we should think of all the goodness, all the constructive, wholesome activities that we have done in the past, we're doing now, and will do in the future. So we combine all the awesomeness of the free times and then dedicate it, following the footsteps of the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, thinking that just like they have dedicated their virtue, their goodness, I am also going to dedicate exactly in the same way. So it's kind of like we it's a dedication of approximation that helps us to dedicate purely in a very pure fashion, like the Buddhist Bodhisattvas did. But if we were to explain this particular verse itself, well, here Patrul Rinpoche states that the only cause of benefit and real happiness in the world is the precious Dharma. Because if the precious Dharma teachings apply to our own mind stream, it's a cure. It's a cure for our own afflictive emotions. It's Dharma can defeat our own difficult, afflictive states of mind. And so knowing that, experiencing that, right, firsthand, when we tried the Dharma, we saw it works, we then wish that it will remain for a really long time so that many beings then also have access to these teachings, that they can study them and put them into practice, and through following the path in this way achieve liberation and a state of awakening. Right? That's would be the best thing that happens to beings. And so then that's kind of aspiration that Patrul Rinpoche also makes here. May the Dharma then remain long into the future. So this text was spoken by Reghet Abu. That's like his nickname of Patrul Rinpoche. And that concludes the text. 9:30. Khenpo, perfect time management.
So, and gozo toje yabanaro and shibju na nyamne yabanaro and gozo.
So Khenpo is going to leave us after today. So he wishes us to keep studying well, doing these kind of investigations, researching, testing the teachings for ourselves, applying them, seeing if they work, right? So he wishes us to do that. So I would, yes, then Stefania would love to offer deep gratitude to Khenpo Tsondru Sangpo for his teachings for the last 4 weeks. I was also going to say, on behalf of all of us, all the students, we really want to thank Khenpo for his teachings, and we will try our best to keep being good students, right? So I will just translate that for Khenpo. I don't know, Khenpo, not so mi chatsan ne, Khenpo nin takpane tujiche shudoyo, not so mi chatsan pe gabo junson, not so the nyamlien chegi kantup tup chegins, the Khenpo kadjin che, the pechina ne pemisi tujiche shugiyo. So that's what I told Khenpo. I think you all joined me in that. So everyone, please be well and be happy. And so we will make our own dedication as usual. With that in mind, let's dedicate. Derek?
Sebe zole dolwara shu chanju zemjo rembo maje banam jejuruj teba nyamba meba gongne gondo belwara shu